doing right now is describe to me the end. When you get to the end, you have in your book, I saw about a guy that got that sign put back up. Tell me about the sign at the end.
Okay. First off, when you get to California, there were several inns. The first end was downtown at 7th and Broadway. Although there's some recent controversy we won't go into now, but the original end was downtown LA at 7th and Broadway. Then in the 30s, that was moved out to Santa Monica at the corner of Lincoln and Olympic because one highway had to end at another highway. So it didn't actually go down to Ocean Boulevard or the pier. But it was tradition for people, once they went that far, to go out and see the Pacific Ocean and go out to the pier. So we call that the traditional or spiritual end of Route 66 out at the Santa Monica Pier. And a gentleman named Dan Rice started his little T-shirt kiosk out there on the pier. And he had rebuilt and added to the pier a sign that had appeared in a movie that said the end of the trail. Route 66, the end of the trail. So it's not an official end. It's not an official sign, but it's a postscript to your whole trip right there. You're right there at the Pacific. You start out at Chicago and you can see, Lake Michigan. Then you end at the Pacific. And for a longest while, there was really nothing special at the official end. Then they put up a historic 66 sign. And now the people that own Mel's Diner have reopened this old diner that sat at that corner and had been a dental office for many years. So now you actually have Mel's Diner with neon at that corner. So there's more interest there now.
I did try to go to Mel's. It's still closed.
Yes.
It's out there.
Yeah.
But on the pier, the amusement rides, a lot of them have stuff that says 66.
Yeah. Dan was the first to promote 66 on there. Now it's like everybody's saying that, hey, this is something, we need to attract people to the pier. Exactly.
And tell me about Bob, and what's the guy?
Waldmeyer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, Bob Waldmeyer was the Route 66 itinerant hippie migrating artist. He was really a character. I'd be going down Route 66, at any time, and I'd look over here, and there would be his little Volkswagen camper van that he tricked out with all his displays and signs and environmental messages. And so I'd stop and visit with him. Or sometimes he'd be in his school bus, which he built basically a wooden prairie schooner structure on the back of it, He had his own wooden antique RV. Bob was an early promoter and mapper of Route 66. He had a huge number of postcards and pen and ink illustrations. He would constantly travel between his home in Illinois and out west. He bought the old Hackberry station and turned it into his visitor center for quite a few years. We miss Bob. His family runs the Cozy Dog in Springfield. I was able to go to his last art show there before he passed away. And people just there to show love and support for him.
He is revered. I mean, Pontiac.
Oh, yeah.
Museum, and that's in Clinton. They have a display.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
to the pier. The guy had his ashes.
Yeah.
In Santa Monica.
Yeah.
He connects Route 66.
He does. Yeah, Bob. It's funny when of course we're both artists, so we were friends, and we'd compare notes about. He'd ask me about watercolor techniques, and I'd ask him about other things, and he would introduce me to his friends. He said, "This is the other great Route 66 artist," But yeah, Bob was a one of a kind. There'll never be another Bob Waldmeyer who travels the route in a strange, funky vehicle and does artwork on site in his unique cartoon style. Okay, I have an original Bob Waldmeyer. He did a set of postcards of Route 66, all 8 states. So at his last art show, I was lucky to be able to buy his Oklahoma, the original. Now, I would have done it this big and then had it shrunk. He did it the final size. And it is packed with lettering, and sometimes there's whiteout and lettering on top of that. And I'm thinking, okay, my goodness, how did this man do this extremely intricate art and lettering at that size? He was a genius at that.
Wow. Yeah, he is. I mean, I didn't realize it as I went through the route, I kept seeing his name. And
Oh, yes, yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get to the end, and The guy said, I got his ashes right there in the display case. I was like, wow.
I want my ashes mixed with tar and spread on some cracks on Route 66 or something.
Do you have? I'm looking here at the Bel Air. Do you had any favorite cars of that era?
Well,
Or the Finns? Did you like the Finns a lot?
I like Finns. When I was a kid, my dad was a Ford man, so that Chevy I have is the only one I've ever owned. But I used to have Studebakers, and there is the grill of my '58 Silver Hawk over here. It was such a rusty car, I ended up parting it out. I like any old cars. Any old cars about any country. You know, I like old